There are 13 things in your kitchen right now that most people never question. You use them every single day. You bought them without thinking about what they are made of. And some of them have been in Western kitchens for decades without anyone ever stopping to ask what they are actually doing. Many Japanese kitchens approach this differently. A long time ago, many Japanese households moved away from these items and replaced them with alternatives that last longer, cost less over time, and do not leave things behind in the food. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what those 13 items are, why each one is worth reconsidering, and what a traditional Japanese kitchen tends to use instead. Stay with me until number 7, because number 7 is the one most people believe is completely safe, and it has been sitting in your drawer doing something you were never told about. And the last one on this list is not an object at all. Item 1. The non-stick pan. You bought it because the eggs slid off cleanly. For the first few months, they did. Then one morning, the eggs stuck. You added more butter. You told yourself the pan was getting old, and eventually you bought another one. Somewhere there are probably 3 or 4 of your old non-stick pans already thrown away. Non-stick coatings can wear over time. When the surface starts to scratch and flake, most people replace the pan rather than repair it. So they buy another one, and the cycle starts again. Every scratch from a metal utensil, every time the pan overheated, every scrub with an abrasive removed small amounts of that coating and sent it into the air and into your food. Many traditional Japanese kitchens use a carbon steel or iron pan. It gets darker and more naturally non-stick every year it is used, not less. A pan used for 40 years is often the best pan in the house. There is no coating. The non-stick quality builds into the metal itself through oil and heat over time. Nobody bought a new one. They bought one once. Item 2. Plastic food storage containers. The pasta sauce stained the lid orange and the stain never came off. The sides warped in the dishwasher. The lid stopped fitting after a few months. You bought a new set. And somewhere in your kitchen there is a drawer full of lids that do not match anything. The words microwave safe mean that the container will not melt in the microwave. They do not mean that nothing leaves the container. Heat, fat, and acidic foods can increase the chance of chemicals migrating from some plastics into food. Many traditional Japanese kitchens have historically stored food in glass, ceramic, or lacquered wood. The container does not react with the food. It was a deliberate design choice made a long time ago, that food should be stored in a material that stays separate from the food. Item 3. Plastic cutting boards. You bleach it. You replace it every year or two. When the knife marks get bad, you buy a harder plastic version. Every stroke of a knife on a plastic cutting board sheds microscopic plastic particles into whatever you are cutting. Research suggests a single plastic cutting board can release a significant number of microplastic particles into food over the course of a year. Many traditional Japanese kitchens use a soft wooden cutting board. The wood closes naturally back over shallow knife marks. It can be sanded down when it wears. A good wooden board can last for decades rather than years. The idea that wood harbors bacteria more than plastic has been questioned by food science research. Wood has not been found to be the dangerous alternative it was once marketed as. Item 4. Black plastic kitchen utensils. The edge of the spatula looks slightly melted where it sat too close to the heat. You noticed it at some point and kept using it anyway. Plastic utensils in a hot pan release chemicals into food during cooking. Black plastic utensils in particular are sometimes manufactured from recycled materials that may include components not intended for food contact. Many Japanese kitchens use long wooden cooking chopsticks called saibashi for everything from stirring a pot to moving food in a pan. A single pair lasts for years. Nothing melts, and nothing needs replacing. The plastic utensil was originally designed as a companion to the non-stick pan, so the softer material would not scratch the coating. Once the pan goes, the utensil becomes unnecessary. Item 5. Paper towels. You go through a full roll in about a week. A spill gets a paper towel. A crumb gets a paper towel. Wiping the counter gets another. Somewhere between 3 and 8 paper towels per day, every day. Paper towels are bleached and treated with chemicals that help them hold together when wet. You are wiping your food surfaces with all of it before preparing food on them. Many traditional Japanese kitchens use small, plain cotton or linen cloths called fukin. They get washed and reused. One cloth replaces thousands of paper towels over its lifetime. The disposable paper towel was invented in the early 1900s by a paper company with a surplus of paper that needed a household use. The problem it solved was theirs. The habit has been in Western kitchens ever since. Item 6. Plastic wrap. You cover the bowl with it before putting it in the fridge. You reheat dinner still covered. You wrap the cheese, the leftover half of an onion, the sandwich. Plastic wrap is made to cling. The properties that make it soft and clingy also make it more likely to transfer to food, particularly warm food, acidic food, or fatty food. Many traditional Japanese kitchens cover food with a flat wooden lid that sits inside the pot, a cloth over bread, a plate over a bowl. The food can be covered without putting plastic directly against it. These approaches have been used for a very long time without the concerns associated with plastic wrap. Item 7. This is the one I told you about. Aluminum foil. You wrap leftovers in it. You line the baking tray with it. You cover the casserole so the top does not burn. You have done it every week for years, and you were told the foil was inert and food safe. When foil contacts acidic food, tomato sauce, lemon juice, vinegar, wine, a marinade, small amounts of aluminum can dissolve into the food. Heat speeds this up. Salt speeds this up. Many traditional Japanese kitchens wrap food in bamboo leaves, parchment, cloth, and wax paper. Acidic food does not contact metal it was not meant to contact. These materials have been in use for a very long time. The foil in your drawer became a kitchen staple in the mid-20th century, following a push to find civilian uses for surplus industrial aluminum. Nobody questioned whether the metal was reacting with the food. Item 8. Cooking spray. You spray the pan for 2 seconds and feel like you are cooking healthier than you would with butter. Cooking sprays contain propellants, emulsifiers, and industrial-grade lecithin, all aerosolized directly onto a pan about to reach high heat. The residue that browns onto the pan and never quite comes off is this mixture polymerized into a film that does not scrub away. Aerosol cooking spray is a convenient commercial format. Many Japanese kitchens keep a small brush and a dish of good quality oil and apply exactly the amount needed. A brush and a bottle of good oil can do the same job with fewer ingredients. Item 9. Dishwasher pods. The clear film wrapping the pod is made from a water-soluble plastic called PVA. Soluble does not mean it disappears. Research is ongoing into how PVA film breaks down after washing. Some scientists have raised questions about whether all of it is fully removed by standard wastewater treatment. The long-term picture is not yet settled. Many traditional Japanese kitchens use powdered mineral cleaners and a natural fiber scrub brush made from palm called tawashi. The brush lasts for years and breaks down naturally when it wears out. Item 10. The synthetic kitchen sponge. You use it until it starts to smell, then buy a new pack. You microwave it to try to sterilize it. It smells again within a week. Synthetic sponges are made from polyurethane foam. The structure of the sponge holds water and food particles at room temperature, which creates the environment that produces the smell. Natural fiber brushes like tawashi avoid the plastic shedding concerns associated with synthetic sponges. Water drains through the bristles more easily, making it less likely to hold moisture and food particles. Item 11. Pyramid or mesh tea bags. You switched to tea for the health benefits. You bought the premium pyramid-shaped bags because they looked higher quality. Researchers have found that steeping certain types of plastic mesh tea bags in near boiling water releases a significant number of microplastic particles into the cup. The silky-looking premium bag is often the worst offender. Many traditional Japanese kitchens use a small ceramic or clay teapot with a built-in strainer and loose leaves that go directly into the pot. No bag. Nothing plastic touches the water. The leaves are removed after steeping and sometimes used again. Item 12. The plastic water filter pitcher. You bought it because you did not trust the tap. You replace the cartridge regularly and feel like you are doing the right thing. The pitcher is plastic. The filter housing is plastic. The cartridge is plastic. Cold water sits inside all of it for hours at a time. And every replacement cartridge becomes another piece of plastic that is difficult to recycle. A traditional Japanese water purification approach uses binchotan, a form of white oak charcoal. A stick placed in a glass or ceramic pitcher of tap water passively absorbs chlorine and impurities. With proper care, one stick can last for several months before being reboiled and reactivated. Over time, it can replace a significant number of plastic cartridges. Item 13. And this one is not an object. It is the reason everything else on this list ended up in your kitchen. And it is the reason you will replace most of these items within the next year, unless something changes. Many traditional Japanese kitchens do not cycle through replacement kitchenware the way most Western kitchens do. The iron pan gets seasoned, the wooden board gets sanded, the cloth gets washed, the charcoal gets reboiled. Many of these traditional tools were designed to be maintained and reused. There is a concept in Japanese called mottainai. It carries the feeling of regret over waste. Not just the waste of throwing something away, but the waste of buying something that was designed to be thrown away in the first place. It is closer to a felt sense of something going wrong than a simple word for wasteful. What has been happening in most Western kitchens is this: pans wear out and get replaced. Containers stain and get replaced. Sponges rot and get replaced. Foil runs out and gets replaced. And every one of those replacements was a decision made decades ago by companies whose business model depends on you replacing things on a schedule. The difference is simple. The tools are maintained instead of constantly replaced. Once you see the difference between a kitchen built to be kept and a kitchen built to be refilled, it is difficult to look at your own drawers and cabinets the same way. Go open one drawer in your kitchen right now. Find the item that fails hardest on everything you just learned. Replace it once and properly. That is where it starts. If you found this useful, subscribe to Japanese Wisdom. Every week, we go deeper into the habits, the objects, and the daily practices that make Japanese homes work differently. Share this with someone who has been replacing the same kitchen items every year and never stopped to ask why. You are welcome.